Hello, Internet. It is I, Buck Russell, welcoming you to Bull Session, another episode of Bull Session, the podcast. Across from me, my good friend and cohort, Marcus Cross. Marcus, good morning.
Good afternoon and evening.
And then good night. We welcome you to the program. Thank you for being a loyal supporter of the program, all two of you. I don't think we have any followers, but that's okay.
I think that's Tim and
Tom Prendergast.
No, I think it's Bob Prendergast and his son, Tim.
His son, Tim. Thank you.
Jim.
We appreciate anyone that does listen to our craziness. Last week was kind of a funny one. We had our very good friend Jer Bear Goldberg on, and he did very well in the super lightweight chubby man division.
Full chubby.
In the full-on chubby division, he won against Slim Shitty Lipschitz in a massive decision.
With a boner?
It was an amazing. If you would have saw it, you never would have believed it if you saw it. But he won late in the fifth round.
What was his finishing move?
His finishing move was the Hebrew Hammer. That's what they call him. The Hebrew Hammer. So.
Okay.
And it's an amazing move. I could not tell you what it is because I don't even know what the hell it is. But he kind of goes like it looks like a Captain Kirk
hammer
fist coming off a top rope with a Stone Cold Stunner in there. It's
he does all this with his penis.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Wow.
Things sound a little different. We are at a different location today. We're at a secret location. So we're at if you hear some rickety, we're at a table that's a little
Dave Knight's.
Yeah, we're at Dave Knight's house. So if it sounds a little different, we apologize.
Amen.
There has been so much since we've not talked in a week.
Yes, there
has been some interesting things that have been going on in the United States.
The healthcare,
the healthcare debate.
That's done. The skinny repeal did not go well.
For right now, it's not going anywhere. If anyone saw that all the repeal effort this week by the Republicans against the healthcare Obamacare has literally failed. Not tremendously, but it has failed to pass in the Senate. So those things are pretty much dead. They tried to do a skinny repeal, which is basically removing certain mandates, and it was going to take certain
didn't work out
tax penalties, whatever, and that did not go well.
McCain killed it.
And did you see some of the backlash he was getting from that?
Who, McCain?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I know he killed it, though.
He did. He
killed
it with
he voted with a no, and Lisa Murkowski and Susan
I believe
Collins,
I think the vote was
all three
45.
of them voted no.
I think 45 to 55.
None of the Democrats voted.
No, of course not. But then when you have people from your own party that are sitting there, and in the last week we have, as we said last week, we said goodbye to Spicey. And you know what? I already missed the guy.
And now we have the Moochie.
Yeah. Have you noticed how much you actually miss the guy? I actually miss.
I don't, but
no. I say this with Spicey. At least he, not saying he had integrity. At least I wasn't saying that he was like, this great person of integrity, which he quit over the decision to put in Mooch.
Right.
But at least when he was trying to tell us something, he was actually talking to the press. He was taking questions.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore.
No.
And I think that's a terrible thing for American democracy when they sit there and they try to do these press briefings. And I've never seen the Mooch on television or anything like that. There are people.
I have many times.
There are people who are not getting their news anymore from ABC, NBC, CBS, and it's not because they're fake news. Trust me. It's because they need a little more civility, and it seems like almost C-SPAN is starting to get a bigger.
Well, he's only been
audience.
In there. The Mooch. He's only been in there for a week, eh? And
he already looks like a douchebag.
He is a fucking D-bag. Okay, I saw this guy do an interview with a BBC news reporter, journalist named Emily Maitlis, and you can look it up. And he sits there and he avoids answering.
Hopefully we can get a link on the screen.
He sits there and avoids basically any question. Like, she asks him question, and then he accuses her of constantly interrupting him, but he won't answer her fucking question. And then she asks a very good question about why do people think Donald Trump is not an elitist? Like that was their biggest, she goes, well, I don't understand. He's a billionaire, which he's not.
No.
That's bullshit.
He's a good millionaire at that.
And
he's not a billionaire, I don't believe.
He's not. He sits in a fucking gold throne in a gold chair at his house. You're telling me that's not a fucking elitist? And you know what his answer was? Mooch's answer was? What? He goes, there's so many things. The fact that he eats cheeseburgers and pizza. And she goes, what? She goes, cheeseburgers and pizza. Everybody eats cheeseburgers and pizza. What are you talking about?
Obama ate cheeseburgers and pizza.
And this is what she said. And she goes, what are you talking about? He's like, well, right there, you're coming off like an elitist. I mean, that's exactly what he said to her. He's like, you're starting to come off like an elitist here. I'll tell you what. He sounds like some fucking swindling. He's some D-bag that fucking.
He sounds like the guy from Jerky Boys.
That fucking drum took out of the mafia or some shit.
See this too.
And he's like the guy that gets the fucking mafia bosses their coffee, and they're like, this shit's too fucking hot, and they throw it back in the mooch's face. He's like, and he goes and has to run him, get him another fucking cup of coffee. He's a bitch. And all he does is that's why him and Trump get along so well, because they just they void everything and they talk about other shit and they don't answer questions.
Did you see this? This I thought was the funniest thing, and it was on Facebook, and I know Facebook is not a great thing to quote, but somebody did this and it's hilarious. They said that what's his name? The Mooch. What is his real name?
Anthony Scaramucci.
Anthony Scaramucci was the unfrozen 80s guy from Futurama. There is an episode of Futurama where this guy says he lived in the 1980s, and he was frozen for 1,000 years to try to cure a disease called bonitis, which basically makes his bones go all wonky. Well, now they're like internet memes popping up, and like people saying, "Hey, that this guy Scaramucci is the 80s guy from Futurama." And you put it together, they look similar, they act similar, and everything, and it's absolutely hilarious. But I mean, there has not been much good that have come out of this week.
No.
And we love it because we both like to, when we do this, we try to do a little bit of research, and we've been watching stuff like this. And
I like it when a con man gets exposed for what he fucking is.
And you see the stuff like this that's going on, and now the big thing, and we're going to talk about it in the next segment, the big thing now is how he's trying to distract. And I honestly think that with all this healthcare stuff that's going on right now, and
he keeps bashing on Jeff Sessions,
and he's bashing on Jeff Sessions.
Is that what you're saying? Why he's distracted?
No. I think he's trying to distract other people from his failures by putting someone else on the chopping block.
Oh yeah.
And I honestly think that because there is no reason at all for what. You know what? I won't wait to the next segment. I'm going to do it now because we have a lot of time left. There is the wonderful orangutan in chief, if you will, has decided that, and you can hear the tenseness in my voice, has decided that from now on, transgender service members are no longer able to serve in the United States military. If you go to my personal blog, which is Buck Russell at blogspot.com, and it is Rantings of a Delusional Wannabe Game Show Host. It's a wonderful blog. So I really hope that people enjoy it. And I'm trying to get there because I have something I need to quote, and my mouse is not working really well on this table. There is something on there that really has a lot to say about the current state of affairs. The terrible way that 25 or... Why is it doing this? Okay, I'm having a little technical difficulty, so I'll just try to...
Well, you shouldn't have bought your mouse from Fisher-Price.
The orangutan in chief has decided that...
Yeah, and this just came out of nowhere.
This came literally out of left field.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, I don't know why it didn't come up. Is that he decided to, and I quote, and this comes from his Twitter feed, or his fucking shit feed.
Yep.
After consult, this is, and I quote from Donald J.
Midnight shit feed. Midnight
After
poop feed.
consultation with my generals and military experts, please be advised that the United States government will not accept or allow transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the United States military. Our military must be focused on decisive and overwhelming victory and cannot be burdened with the tremendous medical cost and disruption that the transgender in the military would entail. Thank you. All right. I'm going to quote someone who also had an opinion on this, and his name is Trey Crowder, if you know who he is.
Liberal redneck.
The liberal redneck. And he said, literally, and is the beginning of the title of this blog post, what the fuck? Because seriously, we have something that is minor in comparison to the reason why. I personally went in to try to become in the military when I was 18 years old. I was disqualified.
Your Uniball?
No, my hearing. And you know my hearing. Of all people, you know my hearing. And so it was to the point where I could not. If anyone has the ability to serve and wants to serve, they should serve.
They should be able to.
There is something, and I saw
don't
this.
think anybody gives a fuck about this issue either.
No, nobody does. He's trying to distract from his terrible healthcare record and him knocking on Jeff Sessions
presidency.
And General Mathis, probably the most moderate member of his cabinet, General Mattis. Is it Mathis or Mattis? Mattis. I would say the most midline, the one that actually probably the only one of his cabinet I even have any respect for.
Right.
He came out and said, "I heard about this like yesterday.
Yeah.
He never talked to me.
Yeah,
I'm not happy about this."
He tweeted this shit in the middle of the night while he was having his bladder bag drained. Okay, this is what I don't understand. Why are you up at 3:30 in the fucking morning, jerking off and draining your fucking bladder bag and then putting tweets out? This is something that you should be talking to your military about secretly, not putting it out on fucking Twitter.
Right. And there's been no talking to anyone. So is this going to happen? More than likely.
Well, he didn't even. The generals, Mattis said it, and so did the other. And the Pentagon said it. They're like, he didn't talk to us about any of this. So he didn't talk to us. He just came up with it.
If anyone remembers last year, the Obama administration removed the restrictions.
And that's what he's trying to do. And he's just trying to undermine everything that Obama did.
And this
is one of the hugest distractions
for transgender Navy SEAL.
He hasn't been able to accomplish.
A transgender Navy SEAL came out. Okay, this person
says meet me face to face.
And this person was on SEAL Team 6. Okay, SEAL Team 6 are fucking badasses.
You're going to question the service of a Navy SEAL now.
Yes. Now, and I could honestly care less if whatever his name, if he was Jenny, then now he's Jim. Or if he was a Jenny and now is a Jim, I could give two shits.
Right.
Honestly, that person went on the line and killed the most wanted person in the world. If he was part of SEAL Team 6 and he took out,
he was part of that mission.
Osama bin Laden. I'm going to find out this person's name, but if they took that person out, and Navy SEALs are probably one of the highest rated special forces in the world.
Yep.
Okay.
Not just this country, the world.
In the world, mind you. These are the guys that literally will do anything and everything above and beyond to get the mission done. When you're sitting there and a Navy SEAL who is a decorating Navy SEAL who happens to be transgender, is now a girl.
Right.
Sits there and says, "Excuse me?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Are you attacking me? I served my country with purpose." There is a transgender individual that is currently at Offutt Air Force Base.
Right.
We are based in Papillion. We are, is where our show comes from. Bellevue is south of where we are at.
Right.
Who came out and it was in the Omaha World Herald, literally said that she cried. She came out, she's taking the hormone injections, whatever. She cried. There are people calling her what? Her fellow members of her troop brigade, whatever, are like, "We're with you."
Right.
This is an Air Force brigade. They're like, "We're with you."
Yeah.
There is no reason for this in this day and age. None whatsoever.
There's not at all. And Pence probably went back in the room and started masturbating when he said this. But it's just like, that's what I don't understand. Nobody, if you look at polling, it's probably 80% of the country doesn't give a fuck about this subject.
No.
It might even be higher than that.
Yeah.
They don't care. So who is he trying to? Who is he? What core of his base is he trying to?
Apparently, he's trying to really connect with the.
Well, here's the other thing:
that working white man who's continuously wants to have everything in their image.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not saying that to be racist or anything. I'm a white fellow, but come on. When you're sitting there and you seem like you're trying to shape the universe in the way you want, and there is no reason in this day and age. There are people now. I work with one of them that sit there and think that being gay or whatever, being transgender is a choice. I personally don't think it's a choice.
He stood up in his campaign. I mean, we obviously can't go back to that because he's lied a billion fucking times in his campaign.
This was the one thing at this point.
He sat there and said I will fight for the LGBT community, and you guys should get behind me because Hillary isn't going to do shit for you, and blah, blah,
There's
blah,
going to
blah,
be more
blah.
people
And
that
so
bring
what
money
do you
in.
think this is going to do?
And I know. I think I've met a few people from that community who said they voted for him.
Right. Oh yeah.
And they believed him. And you know what?
They
Everybody believed him, and they got conned.
Yeah.
The president, and I use those terms loosely, has some of the lowest approval ratings.
Yeah, it's like
of this century.
It's either in the early 30s or it might be in the late 20s now. It's really
he
low.
has lower.
It keeps going lower.
It'll
go up a few points and then it'll go right back down.
He has lower approval ratings than I believe Nixon during Watergate.
Than colonoscopies. Colonoscopies have higher approval ratings.
Than W, I think.
His were pretty low at the very end.
At the end.
Yeah.
He is not even 8 months in.
No, he's not even 7. He's like 6 in a week.
Like 6 and change.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
where's it going to be in December?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's January, a year. What? Yeah.
I have no idea, but it makes our job a lot easier because we can sit there and knock on it. But it gets tiresome when they're sitting there and people.
When real people are going to get affected by some of the things he's doing, which now they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Then it's not funny. No. And that's what's happening right now.
And not only is it not funny.
Well, the whole healthcare thing was going to affect a lot of fucking people.
It was going to affect. In fact, me and my wife would be thrown off healthcare.
Yep.
Granted, it would take 2 years, but honestly, next year, when the mandate comes up, when open enrollment comes up, I only have one option on insurance. One. In the state of Nebraska, being on the healthcare exchanges.
Right.
Because my wife owns her own business, and I work in a business that I work full time, but I'm not salary or anything like that. So I have one option. I will have one option. Wow. I mean, it'll be like probably different levels, but I only have one. It's not Aetna. I don't think it's Coventry or Blue Cross, anything like that.
Right.
I have one option. And whatever it is, I'm going to have to take care of it.
Dollar bill insurance.
Right, pretty much. It's going to be the general, the general commercials.
He does healthcare now.
He does healthcare now.
Yeah, Shaq approved it.
Yeah, Shaq. But you're sitting there and they're attacking a group of people that, honest to God, have nothing to do.
Yeah.
With anything.
And this just came out of fucking, like you said, left field.
It was literally out of left field.
It's just funny. I really think the guy, in our next segment, I'd actually like to bring up the whole Cub Scout thing too.
Oh, yes.
But
I nearly forgot that. I will actually look something up for a quote on that.
Yeah. But this is just ridiculous. It's like he cannot stand when, I mean, what happened to the whole, you'll be winning so much, you get tired of winning, where's that at now? Who's tired of winning right now? He's obviously not because they haven't won anything. Yeah. And they got both fucking. They have the Senate and the House.
Yeah.
And they have the White House.
And they cannot get.
And they can't get shit done.
They have Congress and they can't do anything. Oh, and that's the funny thing.
You guys bitched about this for 7 fucking years. Actually 8 technically.
No, longer than that.
And
because the
you
Democrats
haven't been able
power,
to do shit.
The Democrats had power during W's.
Yep.
We actually have got about 20 seconds because.
Okay.
As our first 20 minutes ends. We will come back. We will finish this because I have a few things I want to look up real quick. And we're going to get on the Hitler Youth there that he's trying to create, it seems like. This is the Bull Session Podcast. Buck Russell, Marcus Cross, part 2 coming up right here after this. We have returned, part 2, Bull Session, the podcast. Buck Russell.
Marcus Cross.
We are here, and in case you were curious, I was looking at this picture I found, and it has who is control the House and who's control the Senate over the last about 160 years. And literally, even during the time of Eisenhower,
right,
like about the end of Eisenhower's term, the Democrats held the House of Representatives for 40 years.
Wow.
Control for 40 years. From about 1955 till 1995.
Okay.
The Senate, the Democrats held it, the longest period of time was 26 years, and that was from about the same time, 1955, and that went to about 1981. And then they kind of traded back and forth.
Back and forth, yeah.
But I mean, 40 years, and that was over a considerable amount of presidencies to be that lenient. And then during the beginning of the 2000s, it was mostly Republican,
right?
With a smattering of Democrats in there. But literally, the Democrats have had difficulties, because over the last 2 years has been the majority party was the Republicans.
Right.
The House majority for about the last 6 years has been the Republicans.
Yeah.
And that was during Barack Obama's 2 terms.
Yep.
George W. behind him, he had both parties. Clinton had almost an entire Republican led. I mean, and it looks here by the diagram, very small amounts. It was very close.
Okay.
It was extremely close.
Right.
But it amazes me. Yeah, it was about, very, very close. In that 40-year period, at one point in time, the Democrats had almost 70% of House seats and almost 70% of Senate seats at one point in time.
Wow. Okay.
And that is impressive because, literally the people are supposed to be represented by the Congress, which is not entirely true because they say they are the only time they even care about us is when it's election day.
Yep.
It's election day.
It's on, during election season.
Which we have another one coming next year.
Yep.
Right around this time.
2018.
It is the midterms, and if anyone listens to us, get out there, vote. Get those motherfuckers out of Congress.
I have never voted in a midterm, and I'm going to this year. Or I'm sorry, not this year, next year.
I don't think. Did you vote last year, or did you put in?
Yes,
yeah,
I
you did. You did.
But I'm going to vote in a midterm. I'd never have voted in a midterm, awesome. And I'm going to. And
I voted for every.
I've never voted ever in a midterm. Have you?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, yeah, I think I have. I can't recall if I have or not, honestly.
Well,
but I can tell you my entire voting record.
It's gotten bad.
It's gotten bad
really
to the point where.
So now it's just like we got to go do what we're supposed to be doing. We have to do our civic duty, and we have to do it. So.
So get out there, get out and vote, get registered. We got to do it.
It's
we
easy.
Do it, kids.
Yep.
It's extremely easy. We got to do it. And being in Nebraska, I am a registered independent voter.
Yeah.
Which means I am not allowed to vote in a primary election, which means I cannot vote for either candidate to progress in the state. It is my federal right that I have to vote in a general election, but since I have no party affiliation.
Right.
And so trust me, every year I get bombarded with Republican crap and Democratic crap. And I got so many things from Don Bacon, it's sick. And somehow he got my phone number. And when they were doing the healthcare thing, he called me and said, hey, Congressman Don Bacon would like to. I don't care about you, Don Bacon.
Maybe he wanted to have a beer.
I don't know. Oh, it was funny. They were my wife, my father-in-law, and all them were marching in one of the parades last year to do Relay for Life because we're extremely active in Relay for Life, and they were behind Don Bacon's float or whatever. So they kept going, bacon, bacon. My father-in-law kept going, sausage, sausage.
Nice.
I was like, well done, sir, well done. All right, now, part 2. Literally, if you see this picture, and I wish I could turn my laptop around to show you, he's going like this.
Oh, yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
And the president, or the orangutan in chief, the Oompa Loompa, decided to go talk to a Boy Scout jamboree
Willy
somewhere.
Wonka, so they can get
The
him
National
to work
Scout
back
Jamboree
in
in
chocolate
Glensheen.
factory.
Yeah. The Boy
He's
Scouts.
the tallest one there.
Yes, he is. Oh, the thing on my phone. When I see when Donald Trump comes out and fires another one of his
Poop tweets.
things, or no, another one of his cabinet members, I think an Oompa Loompa should come out and sing a song.
That is pretty awesome.
In Glensheen, West Virginia, I hope I'm saying that right, the Boy Scouts of America had their National Scout Jamboree just this last Monday.
Okay.
And Trump decided to turn it into a...
It didn't even take long. He did this right away. Then what kind of pissed me off about it? Okay, first off, he made this political. Then he spread a bunch of fucking lies.
Yeah.
He goes, "Did Obama ever come to one of these?" And they all booed. And it was like, no, Obama did fucking come to one of these. In 2010, he came, and he didn't act like a jackass. He made it. He did not make it political at all.
There's no reason to make it political.
Obama was in the fucking Boy Scouts, and Trump was not.
Exactly.
So once again, he has pulled his fucking con and his tiny little wool over people's eyes, and you had dumbasses out there cheering, like, and we're just going to let Obamacare explode or implode, and they all start going USA, USA. Yeah. It's like, okay, yeah, we're not going to have healthcare. Yeah, USA, way to go, America. What the fuck?
It surprises me that people still sit there and believe this.
Oh my God!
You know, and I'm going to read this. This comes from the New York Times, and New York Times isn't New York Times owned by Rupert Murdoch?
No, I don't think so.
The
Wall Street Journal, I think, is.
The Wall Street Journal is. You're right. I'm sorry. Please forgive me anyone listening from the New York Times. But this comes from the New York Times website.
The New York Times is pretty progressive.
And I will quote, facing the angry backlash from parents and former members, the chief executive of the Boy Scouts of America apologized on Thursday for political remarks made by President Trump at the organization's National Jamboree this week. In the speech, Mr. Trump crowed over his election victory, attacked the news media, and criticized Hillary Clinton and former President Barack Obama.
Okay, can I interrupt you for
no, please,
2 seconds? Why the fuck are you talking about Hillary Clinton? Why are you still talking about fucking
It's
Hillary
over
Clinton?
with. You beat her. Stop.
Jesus Christ. Are we kidding?
That's beating a dead horse is what it is.
How are you ever not thinking about yourself? I mean, that's all he does. You beat Hillary Clinton. That was in fucking November. Why are you still talking about this? Yeah. Why do you give a shit? Jesus, somebody has a small penis. Because if you're still seriously this insecure about things, oh my God. At a fucking Cub Scout rally?
Yeah. Yeah. It's...
I mean, we can't make this shit up.
No,
we can't. Oh my God.
Sorry, I was just testing something there. I will continue. No, but I totally agree with you. Michael Serbaugh, I hope I'm saying that right, the organization's chief, said in a statement on Thursday that it was never our intent for the National Jamboree to become a venue for partisan political attacks. I want to extend my sincere apologies, quote, to those in our scouting family who were offended by the political rhetoric that was inserted into the Jamboree, he wrote. He added, we sincerely regret the politics that were inserted into the scouting program. Speaking to a crowd of some 40,000 scouts, volunteers, and others in West Virginia on Monday, Mr. Trump attacked the fake media and celebrated his incredible election victory.
That he barely fucking won.
Right.
And he still didn't even win the popular vote, and he barely won the fucking college.
Right.
You keep doing those numbers there, dude.
You know, and here's the one thing that scares me.
Everybody hated Hillary Clinton. She still almost beat you.
Brilliant. I'm going to... I'm going a little bit farther in the article here. Mr. Trump mocked Mrs. Clinton for losing Michigan in the election, and many in the crowd booed her name. Please let me go before you go any further. He regaled the scouts of stories of a New York cocktail party. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. He drew attention to the fact that Mr. Obama declined the National Jamboree during his years in office.
Which he didn't.
Mr. Obama stayed away from the event over the Boy Scouts ban on gay and transgender scouts and scout measures was just changed. And you said
2010
he was there. At one point, this is the part that scares the hell out of me. At one point, the crowd interrupted into chants of "We love Trump" and booed Mr. Obama. We are liberal thinkers, okay? You can sit there and say that we love Trump or whatever. That's fine. That is your right to do. But don't sit there and make your kids who are vulnerable.
Right.
Don't make you think that this guy is a demigod that thinks he's doing good in the world
because he hasn't done one
he's
fucking
not.
thing yet.
He hasn't done a goddamn thing.
All he's done is talk about himself.
Right.
And he's still talking about the goddamn election that was 7 fucking months ago.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Nobody cares anymore. He's okay. Look,
This-
if you want to sit there, okay, I have a story to tell. When I was younger, all right, I sat there and I drank 2 pitchers of Boulevard Wheat. I thought it was an accomplishment. So I would tell the story saying,
there.
"You were there."
It was a proud moment.
It was a very proud moment in my life. But I would sit there and I would tell the story. After a while, it just lost all what's the word I'm looking for? All clout. Because it became like, oh great, you're a fat guy drinking beer. Okay. This is the same thing.
Well,
you won the election, okay? You won it, and guess what?
Not by the biggest numbers either.
No, not by the biggest numbers either.
And you beat a person who she was not well liked. Okay.
No,
Let's
she
just
wasn't.
say that. I think she was. I'm going to say it right now. I don't think she would have made. I think she would have made a decent president, but she was a lousy fucking candidate, and she didn't know. I mean, she was the same shit that everybody was just like, no, she's the standard politician. We want to throw a rock through that window.
Right.
We don't want this. Okay. And she still almost beat you. And she still had the fucking she won the fucking popularity vote.
She won the popular vote.
And he's still
vote
bragging about the fucking election that was damn near 8 fucking months ago.
Yeah.
At a fucking Cub Scout rally, you're doing this. And you're talking about and then you don't even have your facts straight because you said Obama never did this when he was in the Boy Scouts and did come there in 2010, and he was never in. He was never in.
That means he's correct.
He was never in the fucking Cub Scouts. Trump wasn't.
I'm gonna go a little farther in this article. Brian Alexander, who earned the Eagle rank as a teenager in Ohio, once again I'm quoting an article from the New York Times, told the Times in an interview this week that he considered Mr. Trump's remark on Monday a disgrace. Quote, based on my experience with scouting, the point is that you're supposed to grow up to be someone, not like Donald Trump. You're supposed to grow up to be someone like John McCain or Barack Obama. In his state on Thursday, Mr. Serbaugh, who is the president or the head of the Boy Scouts of America, said the Boy Scouts had invited sitting U.S. presidents to address the National Jamboree regularly since 1937. Such invitation should not be construed as an endorsement of any person, party, or policy.
No, that has never been about that.
I was a Cub Scout back in the day.
So was I.
I don't remember ever saying that you needed to be Republican to be a freaking Boy Scout or a Democrat or
It's
whatever.
not about politics.
No, it's about doing good in your
Yes.
community. It's being prepared and being
That's
good
why
people.
Donald Trump wasn't a fucking Cub Scout.
Right, exactly. While we live in a challenging time in this country, divided along political lines, the focus of scouting remains the same every day. In a time where differences seem to separate our country, we hope the true spirit of scouting will empower the next generation of leaders to bring people together to do good in the world. And that's all we can hope for anymore,
Right.
is
Absolutely.
to do good in the world, because there isn't much left of it, honestly, that is good, because we are still seeing people who are discriminated by race, discriminated by religion, discriminated by national
sexual
creed,
orientation.
by sexual orientation, and that is nothing.
And remind me again what fucking year this is?
This
2017. It's not 1955. It's not 1960. It's 2017.
Something that I did not bring up before.
Thank you,
I wanted
Trump.
to bring up and this I saw this on Facebook the other day, and I looked it up. Executive Order 9981 by Harry S. Truman, July 26th, 1948. 1948, mind you.
Right.
It says that no person of any color, creed, national orientation, or religion shall be disbarred from fighting in our nation's military. Now, this is slightly paraphrased to a point, but this was 1948.
48, yeah.
When racism and segregation were still in play.
Well, very,
Very much in play.
huge.
Okay. It wasn't until the, I would say, late 50s, early 60s
Probably 60s.
that it started getting a little bit better. It didn't. And
After riots and
after riots and and everything,
assassinations and it still
and
was
it
not
really
good.
wasn't until the Civil Rights Act was
Right.
enacted by Lyndon Baines Johnson,
Yep.
who was a Republican.
No,
if
he
I
was a
recall- No, he was a
Democrat.
Democrat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yep.
a Democrat. Then you sit there and you're like,
He took over
Yeah.
after Kennedy was assassinated.
right? I thought they were still on the loser gets the vice president. point
No,
at that
he
time.
was his vice.
Then Nixon,
LBJ.
who was a Republican, Nixon pushed for more civil rights stuff. Nixon,
Yeah.
who was a Republican.
Yep.
It boggles my mind that now people want to move back.
so was Eisenhower.
When you sit there,
Eisenhower
Eisenhower's a
was
Republican.
in the 50s, and he didn't want so much money being spent on the fucking military.
He said of the military-industrial complex, that
Yes.
speech is famous.
Yes.
And
And this
it's-
is a Republican that had a huge
Yeah.
popularity.
His popularity
he
was
very
enormous after
high
World War II.
during that time.
And he took over after Truman
So, yeah.
in 1951. Wait, no. I take that back. No, it was 1953 he took over for Truman. Is that right? Yeah.
I think so.
1952
I don't know.
or 50. It was 1953. Because Truman was president from 45 to 1952 was the beginning of the Korean War. He was. Even after, because he dropped the bombs in World War II.
Yep.
Because he was one of FDR's vice presidents. And so he took the place after FDR died and dropped the bomb. So, but this, once again, 1948, this was a different time. There were still Jim Crow laws in the South.
Yeah.
That one race is going to make another race sick just because they drink out of the same water.
Right.
There were still laws on the books that a white man could not marry a black woman or a black man could not
Oh,
marry a
these
white
were
woman.
laws for a long
And these
time.
were laws not necessarily out of the South. These were laws in every state, including the one we live in Nebraska.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And it's to the point where you look at it now, there are episodes of a television show called Dragnet in the 60s, mind you, that dealt more with items that are going on now than that were prevalent in the 60s. He went on about drugs. Jack Webb, who was an amazing television producer, he created literally you have Jack Webb to thank for like shows like NCIS and Law and Order for the procedurals. I'm talking about police procedures.
I'm not going to
about
thank you for NCIS.
I love NCIS. Stop it.
Well, you're the only person that's under the age of 70 that watches it.
Stop. Anyways, he sat there and there is a video that he sits there and talks about these three kids who got in trouble for like smoking pot or something. He sits there and goes on this almost 10-minute rant on, you know what, if you don't like it, get involved and change it. In so many words. He said there are, you guys don't have to worry about measles and diphtheria and, you know what, if you don't like the laws about marijuana, do something about it. Get to your congressman and make them change it. Make the world better for people. That's what you have to do. And we're in a time now where we're not seeing that anymore.
Well, you got to do. Well, I think there is a big movement. I think
there is a movement, yes, but there are some still people that have that idea that, you know what, it doesn't involve me.
Yeah.
Why do I bother?
Yeah.
And that's the sad part is, you know what, brother?
I think we're always going to have that, though. I think we're always going to have
But I think it involves everyone, personally.
But I mean, I think we're always going to have those people that think
will.
that way.
And
But I think there is a big, I think there is a big revolution kind of coming. I mean, a movement of of a lot of people speaking their voice and going, okay, I do have to talk to my Congress. I do got to get on the phones, or I gotta.
There's a guy I used to work with that does that.
That
now.
didn't before, and I think that's happening right now.
There's a guy that does that I know that does that right now, and he posts it on Facebook every time he does it. And you have to do that because being in Nebraska, we have two senators. Both senators, I believe, are Republican.
Yeah.
Ben Sasse and Deb Fisher. Sass? I thought it was Sassy.
No, it's Sass.
Ben Sass, Ben Sass is the more moderate of the
right.
two.
Yeah.
And then our congressman, which
Deborah
is
Fisher.
our congressman, who we have
George
three
Zip.
of them.
George Zip.
Zip. It's Don Bacon.
And eggs. Side of hash browns.
I can't remember.
No
We're
relation
going to
to
end
Kevin.
segment 2 in a minute.
No relation to Kevin.
No relation to Kevin, at least that we know of, because we're pretty sure that Kevin might disown him. We don't know.
Yeah, I think that would probably.
We'll come back. Part 3 of the program. What are we going to talk about in part 3?
2020.
2020. Sounds good. Back in a minute because I got to get a drink. You're listening to the Bull Session Podcast right here. Stay tuned.
Word.
Little music. You like it?
No, I don't.
Okay. It was worth a try,
Is this
We'll let the clip end.
Bee Gees?
No, it's just some random music we have. Welcome
Okay.
back. Part 3 of Bull Session, the podcast, episode 3. Glad you're joining us.
Yes.
I am Buck Russell.
Yes. I am Marcus Cross.
We're now drunk and violent, so
Yeah.
I think we're ready to go.
I've already peed on the floor.
I got my sound effects now, which I wish I would have had them about 10 minutes ago, but it would have been great. So I don't know.
Fishing since you're 3 years old?
Yeah, 3 years old. Okay.
Vodka sandwiches all around.
Vodka sandwiches all around. We have one more kind of serious topic.
I need another round over here. It's the mooch. Bring it over here, sugar tits.
He does.
That's the mooch. What'd you do?
That's what I'm doing on the
Throw up?
No. But
Don't throw up
seriously,
on those mics.
no, they're expensive. They were $21 a piece.
At Mangelson's.
No. But seriously, 2020, you were talking
Oh
about.
yeah, there's a lot of news now that pretty good, solid chance that Bernie Sanders is going to run again in 2020. And I think, well, first off, anytime anybody mentioned this shit to him, he got like angry, like so Bernie, it's 2 months
I
into.
follow him on Facebook, and my God, the stuff he has to say is amazing.
Yeah, he's like, Bernie, it's 2 weeks into Trump's, presidency. Are you thinking about 2020? Everybody was asking him like right away, and he's like, listen here, I'm getting tired of being asked if I'm going to run in 2020. I do not think that is necessary to be talking about. And, he got all pissed off.
Of course.
And then, I'm doing a bad impression of him, but he got really mad. Like, he was like, we do not need to be talking about this right now. We need to be talking about our president's decisions and how we need, and he was just all, so he'd get all mad. Well, he was over in Iowa recently
He likes Iowa.
at a speech, and also one of his most recent interviews.
Yes.
They were asking him about, they said something kind of in passing. I think it was on that morning show on MSNBC. And Joe Scarborough asked him something about, a possible candidate for 20. I think that's, he announced Bernie was here. He says, and we're going to talk to Bernie Sanders, Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont, independent from Vermont. He's like, possible candidate for 2020 or something. And Bernie just laughed and smiled, And usually he's, let's not get into that, Joe, and usually he's all pissed off. But he didn't. And not that this confirms anything, but we have strong evidence now from that he's going to run
The crowd goes wild.
for sure in 2020.
Have you seen the T-shirt? I know I've shown you the
And
picture.
he's trying to get the money out of politics and shit.
And the money needs to be out of
It
politics.
needs to go because
It really does.
We cannot figure out who's for fucking what without the goddamn lobbyists around.
Well, not only that, or with the Koch brothers, or any of that.
Hey, I like the Koch
Because-
brothers. They make Coca-Cola. Oh wait,
No,
that's not the Koch
that's
brothers.
not the Koch brothers.
Oh,
Not those
wow.
idiots. And it used to have cocaine in it. I don't really know that.
Oh no, come on.
We will not be doing the box office this week, only
not?
because it's not done. We usually record on Sundays. We're
Well,
recording on Saturday this
Pretty
week.
good,
so-
strong chance that I think the Emoji Movie might be.
And right now, it's leading
And
by
I think
box office.
Atomic Blonde might be next.
By boxofficemojo.com as of right now, estimates have come in. That Emoji Movie is number 1 with 10.5. This is just for Friday.
Just for Fridays.
Dunkirk, Atomic Blonde, Girls Trip, Spider-Man: Homecoming, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Girls Trip wasn't number 1?
No.
What?
Wharf the Planet of the Apes, Despicable Me, Valerian, which has been, I think,
doing really bad.
not doing as good as it. Baby Driver dropped big time. Wonder Woman is still
Baby Driver's like made almost $100 million though.
Yeah, it is.
It's a small movie.
$89 million right
They made it for like $30 million.
Yeah. Wonder Woman is number 10. The Big Sick, number 11. Wish Upon, number 12. So that
Wish Upon is not any higher than that?
No, it wasn't. It was barely in the top 10 when we did it last week. So
that's like a 9.2 on IMDb.
Another great thing, this is something we are resurrecting from the old show, is that we will be coming up the
9.2 on IMDb.
Stop. The
what? I'm just quoting numbers here.
Football picks in the third segment of every podcast that we will do.
No, you won't.
We will be doing football picks for the NFL.
What about lacrosse picks?
No.
That's what I played in.
Yeah.
When?
When?
The Petersburg Elementary, when I was cleaning.
That's St. John Thomas.
No, I was Squire John Thomas Betteras.
We have a lot of time.
Come on, you little boys, get out there and play lacrosse.
Yes. One thing that's going to be a lot of fun too.
Oh wait, this is really weird. Why do we have to wear such tight?
I'd like to give a shout out to today is Benson Days. 130 years of Benson Days is tonight.
Excellent.
Also, Beer and Bacon Festival was earlier today down there.
At Benson?
In Benson.
What? Well, what the fuck are we doing here?
Drinking beer, sitting there on the microphone. And then Gretna Days, which we will be attending this evening.
Your buddy Jake from State Farm might be there.
God, I hope not. We have to tell this story. No, we have a lot of time. We've been serious the first half, first 2/3 of the program.
Yeah, all I wanted to get off my chest in the third act.
No, we're really hoping
that. Well, no, it's about an 80% chance Bernie Sanders is going to run in 2020.
Well, we decided
the people that were behind him before get behind his ass again. Okay, we need him
even more. What day did you and I hang out? Was it?
It was
Friday?
Saturday.
Last Saturday
in the park.
Even on the 4th of July, I'll use the next line.
Yes.
Saturday in the park.
Shut up.
Anyways, so we go to this bar in Gretna. All right. Well, we're sitting there. We're just all, BSing, having a good time. I think I was playing some Keno at the time. And then all of a sudden, this guy.
Win?
I didn't win anything. I never do.
You almost did, though.
I almost did, yes.
You almost had one number.
One more number. Yeah. I need one more number to win. But we're sitting there, and then all of a sudden, this big guy. Now, I'm a big guy. This other big guy comes up here and he says his name is Jake. And Jake was wearing khakis and a polo. And so we called him Jake.
He did say his name was Jake?
His name was Jake.
I did not know that.
So that's why we called him Jake from State Farm. This guy could barely keep his eyes open. He was sitting there basically hitting on your girlfriend. But it was so funny because the other guy that was with him was like sober as all hell and he was cool. I can't remember his name. I think his name was Andy.
I don't know if he was cool.
But I mean, well, hell, I don't know about your tab. My tab was like under $30. Because of
ours wasn't
because of Jake from Jake of State Farm. Because
I think we bought some shots, and I think she put all the shots on my tab. Mine was like $57. That was with a tip. With my tip, it was a total of $57. I don't know. I don't know
stuff on our tab, and she didn't. So maybe I owe you for a round of shots then tonight.
Maybe Jake from State Farm took care of more than what you wanted him to take care of.
I don't know, but he took care of a lot.
Did he take care?
We're going to
your herpes.
No. So we're going to go to Gretna Days tonight. We might run into Jake from State Farm, so you never know. If we talk about Jake from State Farm again, you'll know who we're talking about.
Well, my girlfriend's a little bit creeped out by him because I said he probably went home. I'm sorry. I'm just being a realist.
He probably went
home and masturbated over her. Huh. And he was probably like, I almost got in her pants. Girl from Thirsties. Girl from Thirsties.
And your girlfriend she is a lovely young woman, and I would not be surprised that she's creeped out.
Well, that's
by that.
I'm sure he's not used to. Yeah. I don't think Jake from State Farm's standards.
Jake from State Farm was like our age.
I'm saying.
Well, no, he was like our age.
He looked older than us.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna say at least our age.
Yeah.
And I swear that he was probably he was pulling moves like something that you would do like when you're 20. You don't go up to a girl that's sitting at the bar, probably or next to a guy who more than likely is her boyfriend, which was. But I mean, I never did. We do shit like this when we were kids?
No.
You know, it was.
Why?
Just,
What did he say? I didn't even
no,
remember.
I don't remember him saying, but I just remember him popping up, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden they were talking, and I swear that you could see that she was, you know. But
Well,
it was when
and
you
then
were
he asked how
outside.
long
You went
he
outside,
lived,
and that's
then,
when
yeah.
they came
Well, then
up.
why didn't
so.
you stay there?
I did stay there.
Oh.
I didn't go nowhere.
Well, what the
Wait a
fuck?
minute, I did leave because I needed to take care of something. But yeah,
You
it was
have a
a good
movement?
time. It was good times. So Gretna Days, if you're going to be there, find us. You won't be able to. You don't know what we look like because we will not post pictures.
So
of
don't
ourselves.
find us.
Don't worry about us. We'll be cool. We'll have fun. But anything going on in your life this week? I mean,
No.
in about a month, we will be off for 2 weeks.
What?
Just because I'm going on vacation. I'm going to South Dakota. And that will be, I believe, the shows from August 19th and August 20th and August 27th.
And where are you going?
Go to South Dakota. We're gonna have a good time in South Dakota.
Okay.
With the whole family. The wife, my father-in-law, her stepmother, my brother-in-law, and my sister-in-law.
And their kid? Aiden?
And my nephew Aiden. We are going to go to South Dakota and have
Is
a
he
good
the
time.
only kid that's going?
Only kid that's going. I don't
What about
have kids.
Millhouse?
No Millhouse. Wasn't that great that we got him to? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Can I borrow a feeling?
Kirk. I'd like to give a shout out actually to Kirk.
Please
Van
do.
Houten.
Please do. Talk about
He
Kirk
is-
Van Houten for a minute
well,
because we have
he
loads
is
of time.
Very. I think about him a lot. Actually, no, I do not.
No, you don't.
I never actually think about him unless I want to punch something. Oh,
Hope you enjoy the podcast. Make sure we're at kmsi.com and YouTube, youtube.com/KMSI Media. Also, catch my blog. It is buckrussell.blogspot.com.
when is Jer Bear Lipschitz or Jer Bear Goldstein? What the fuck's his name? Goldberg coming back on.
Hopefully next time.
Okay.
We'll see. We may have another guest. We don't know. I mean, Jerry Bear, now that he's famous, he's,
You think we could get the mooch on? Hey.
we could probably find a way to get him here.
That'd be great.
Because we've had Bernie Sanders, and
I don't think we've had Bernie Sanders on.
you can do a pretty good,
Well, I can do an
impersonation of
but
him.
we haven't had him on.
and I can do a great Bill Clinton.
Can you?
Because I think, or no, that actually sounds more like Jimmy Carter.
He's still alive.
Yes, he is.
Is he
That
90?
man, he's 92 years old.
Wow.
He sits there and does stuff, and I cannot believe that man, 92
He's still
years
very,
old,
very sharp.
still very sharp. And he sits there and he does what he does.
Yeah.
So, hang on a minute. I need you guys to hear something that will make you giggle, and hopefully this doesn't add
Hi,
on me.
everybody. Hi. And hit it.
Just think of this, when you're listening to us.
Can I borrow a feeling?
This is to you, Kirk.
Could you lend me a
Kirk,
jar of
we love you.
love?
We love you so much,
Hurting
man.
heart
Actually, we
needs
really
some
don't, but this is for you.
healing.
Yes.
Take my hand with your glove of love.
Thank you, Kirk.
You are
Thank you, Kirk.
extremely
You-
How about it,
special.
man?
Yeah.
You marry me?
We love you, man.
Can you do a favor for a guy in love? Yeah, that's what we're here for.
And he goes, anybody like the Doobie Brothers? Because we got one of them.
We got one of them.
Speaking of, we have a little entertainment news. Did you hear the Simpsons season 18 will be released this Christmas?
Oh, cool.
Finally, most of the pundits, Fox has finally seen the error of their ways in stopping DVD sales. Well, what it is you have 1 through 17 that has all the footage and the commentary. And then you have season 20, the first 20 years.
But they did that a while ago, though.
They did that a while ago, but it has no commentary or
Okay.
any special features. It's just the 20th season.
Okay.
They're going on a cash grab. It's like, hey, 20 years, let's
course
release
they
the
are.
20th season.
They're evil
So,
of fucking assholes who only care about
Al
money.
Jean, who is the current showrunner,
Yeah.
one of the executive producers and I believe the current showrunner, said that they have already recorded commentary for seasons 18, 19, and I believe 20.
Okay.
And so 18 will be released around this Christmas, Thanksgiving, Christmas time, somewhere in that neighborhood. And they think that, well, Fox had this idea that physical media is dying. No, physical media is not dying. A lot of people, are going to Netflix and YouTube and whatnot.
Right.
But there are people like me who collect these things.
I do too. So does my brother. There's a lot of people who still collect
I have
shit.
all 17.
That's why vinyl's big again.
Yeah.
People want to fucking buy records.
There are 17 seasons of Diluted. Sorry. I wish. 17 seasons of The Simpsons out. I would love season 18. I have a show called Babylon 5, which is one of my favorites. It's really hard to find. It's now online, but I have, I think, the first 4 of the 5 seasons.
What?
Star Trek. And people, you don't sit there and
here's the other thing, too.
Is you get it for the special features. You get it for the commentary and stuff like that is what you do.
Companies will throw out like one season. If it doesn't do real well, they won't throw out any more. There's several shows like this.
Or they could be smart like Warner is doing for a lot of the Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Okay.
Is they're doing what's called a manufacture on demand. Is you go on Amazon and you buy, because I did it with a cartoon that I really like. It was a Scooby-Doo knockoff from 1976. And I bought the cartoon, and normally things get to you in 2 days. It got home in 3 days because it takes a day when you buy it, the thing goes into a machine, they do the thing, and they print the label, and they put it in a box, and they send it to you.
Okay.
And that's what I got. And I thought it would be like a Boomerang, because the show has been on Boomerang a few times. I thought it would be like just them covering, like I'd have Boomerang logos on the screen. No, this is crisp, clear, a good transfer.
How many episodes is it?
There's only 13.
Okay, and that's all 13?
Yeah, and it's 2 discs in the box.
Okay.
So it was all 13, and it cost me, I think, $20, $25, something like that.
Well, see,
you can get all kinds of Hanna-Barbera cartoons this way. But there are not a lot of people that do that, because if they did a manufacture on demand like this, maybe it would get more popular and more people would. Because that is,
Disney Channel is huge
shows
with this.
Yes.
They do not put shit on their Blu-rays or DVD, as far as their cartoon series.
Right.
Like Recess was a huge one that all these people demanded for.
Yeah.
The Lilo and Stitch series was another one that they all demanded for. Still is not out. No seasons, nothing. It's just their stupid little spin-off movies and shit like that they throw out. And it's
that's
just
the only one you can get on for Recess. Recess is a great cartoon from back then. The only one you can get is Taking Back to 5th Grade on Netflix right now.
And I think you can actually watch Recess on YouTube.
You can, but every time you find it, it's either
some
to get
fucked
past
up version of it.
Well, no, to get past DCMA, which is Digital Content Millennium Acts, to get past the censors that YouTube has, you either have to squish the screen, speed up or slow down the voices. For the US version, it is an NTSC, which makes it say how we're talking right now.
Right.
They maybe put it in PAL speed, which is overseas, like the UK, and it tends to be a slight bit faster. So they will speed it up, and it'll be just extremely slight, but it'll be something that
enough to where the censors to put it on there.
But there are ones, because I've been trying to watch, because Dragnet is no longer, like I was talking earlier, Dragnet,
the original series,
No, the 60s version, because you can get the 50s one. The 50s is
there was a 50s one.
Yeah, the one that originally in the 50s was on for like 10 years. And it is in the public domain now, which you can find it anywhere. But the 60s one is owned by Universal, and it has quite hard protections on it.
And that's Harry Morgan and
Jack
He's
Webb.
on there?
Yeah,
okay,
that's
and
Harry
Webb.
Morgan.
Okay.
And to find it, there's a YouTube channel that has it, but it's like, this is the city. Los Angeles, California. They've slowed it
like
down.
Sean Connery doing a narration of Dragnet.
But it slows it down considerably to try to get away from the censors and whatnot. And I can understand that. They just want to make $1 like everyone else. They have copyright laws.
They also just want to put, the people that are putting that on also just want to put shows on that people that can't get any fucking where else. So they have to go through this.
Do you remember back in the day? We have about 2 minutes, roughly
to get it on.
Less than 2 minutes left. Do you remember back in the day when Nick at Night came on? Like Nickelodeon was like almost all day.
Yeah.
And then they brought Nick at Night, and I remember that, and I was like, oh my god, I'm pissed. You're going to put on these shows.
But they put on like some really
great shows. Dragnet being one of them.
Taxi was on,
and all those.
All like the old.
And they would show them
the good shows
1/2 hour at a time.
Yep.
What is it now with? Granted, everything is in
like
syndication.
George Lopez from like 1 a.m. to like 10 a.m.
No, it's on from like 7 to 7. It's like, show these shows in the proper order. Show,
Right.
You know, I don't need if you're going to do an hour, that's fine. Do 2 episodes of George Lopez and, you know, the Wayans Brothers was a great show. That's one you don't find very often anymore. Or, you know, and then you have like the channels like Antenna now that will show older shows, but they show them in blocks still.
Yeah.
There is a great other game show network. The game show network used to be great. It sucks. Now there's one called Buzzr, Buzzr,
Yeah.
which you get because you have Dish Network. I don't get it. I have DirecTV.
Yep.
And it has some of the greatest game shows of all time. And you can't get that in some places. And I would love to have that on what I have, you know. But that's the world of entertainment, though.
I like, well, you know, and also Dish.
30 seconds just to lay.
Dish kind of gets fucked over sometimes because people have, you know, they want to up their contract, and so they want to charge more money, and Dish gets fucked. We didn't have KTV Channel 7 for like 2 months.
For DirecTV,
and now we've had it for like the last 3 months because they're assholes. They fucking did some bullshit, and Dish was like, well, we don't want to pay
Channel
that price.
6.
Why are you guys, we have a contract with you. Why are you upping your money?
DirecTV had the same problem with the WWT Channel 6.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, we got to go, gang. We are actually a little over the hour mark, but it was a great discussion today. I really do. You know, we had some good times, some bad, and we got into some good stuff. So hope you will join us next time for Bull Session. We'll be back next time with more fun.
Excellent.
And hopefully another special guest.
It'll be a surprise.
Till then, I am Buck Russell.
I'm Marcus Cross.
This has been the Bull Session Podcast. Good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Peace out.